Good day. I'm Corey Jones. This is the Corey Jones Show. At safetyman.co, we do a couple things to keep you safe. One of those is verbal de-escalation through verbal judo, being able to take winning communication and solve any kind of unforeseen problem. We do active shooter and crisis management training. We do taser training. We do firearms training. We do anything that can make your business, organization, house of worship, school, daycare, any place safer. We want to empower people to make good choices to be safe. And speaking of empowerment, I'm here with Jessica Devine, who is the embodiment of empowerment. Jessica and I became friends a couple months ago. We did some training together. Jessica, tell me about yourself and like your family life and how you got to where you are today.
Absolutely. So I originally grew up in Pennsylvania, Montgomery County. I lived with my mom and my brother, and we basically grew up in a small town, just the three of us, doing the best we could. And that's pretty much my family life from where I came up. I did move into Virginia for about 7 years or so, but that was just me on my little adventure, and now I'm back.
How was Virginia?
It was awesome. I loved it. I lived right outside of DC, and it's such a fitness area. Great people, great networking, and a lot of opportunity.
So you mentioned fitness, and I know that your career is fitness.
Yes.
So I guess that would be the impetus how you get started into fitness, but how did you make fitness like a lifestyle?
Absolutely. So I've always been into fitness my whole life. I've been an athlete. I played basketball, cheerleading, dance, volleyball, softball, you name it, I probably played it. And so I've always had that athletic background. And then when I was in Virginia, actually, I kind of went through a breakup at the time, and I turned to the gym to kind of help me through it.
Yeah.
And then I invested into a coach myself. And with that being said, he kind of turned into a life coach for me, who basically gave me the idea, look, you seem like you're great at motivating people and you really like fitness, so why not do it yourself?
So that was how you became a career path with fitness as the basis.
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell me about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first started and I got into it, obviously I was working out more than I was coaching people. But then I looked into NASM CPT. That was the most recommended one to get started in. And then from there, I worked at a gym called Export in Virginia. And Export Fitness was kind of my starting point. I started off as a salesperson. And then once I got certified, I actually moved to a different gym called Washington Sports Club. At that time, I was starting to train people one-on-one. I was getting a lot of experience from other coaches. So I was working with bodybuilders to see their training methods. I was working with dancers. I was working with people who did a lot of body weight training and things like that. So I was just getting different experience working with different coaches. And then from there, I actually got introduced to Orange Theory.
All right, so you mentioned NASM and CPT. Those seem like the most common fitness training regimens that there are. Can you tell me about those? Like, are they difficult?
Yes, so NASM is very science-based, so each certification has more of a different focus. Again, NASM is pretty scientific. They have their own training module. They have the 5 stages that they go through. It is a difficult certification, but it's well worth it. You get a lot of knowledge of the body, how it operates, and things like that.
Yeah. So we have a common person. My wife, Dagmar, is a friend of yours.
Yes.
And she just completed her NASM certification too. And I remember it was a big struggle for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So you did that. You got the NASM. You got the CPT.
Yep.
You came back up this way, and you got into a national organization called OTF. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so I actually joined OTF when I was in Virginia. I started off as an assistant studio manager, so behind the desk. Very shortly after, they lost their head coach, and I already had a managerial experience. I was already into fitness, so I created a dual role of assistant studio manager and head coach. From there, I switched over to a dual head coach role, so I was managing both studios on the fitness side of the glass. And then I made the move back to Pennsylvania, which then I just, at the time, became a coach. I love Orange Theory. I love everything that they encompass. They, are all about community, which is a lot of what I'm about. Yeah. And I met a lot of great people there. And it gave me a lot of experience, not just working one-on-one with people, but how to work with people as a whole. And working with different sides. When you're a personal trainer, you work one-on-one more so with lifting weights, putting them on a cardio machine. It's kind of very separate. Whereas in Orange Theory, you're learning how to coach someone running. You're learning how to coach someone on a rower. You're learning how to coach someone not just with weights, but TRX and an ab dolly and all different types of things. So it helped build my experience as a coach and become more well-rounded.
TRX, those are those big bands, right?
Yes.
They're not called bands, right?
No, they're straps.
I get in trouble all the time when I call them bands.
Yeah.
All right, so now you have a new venture
Yes.
that you're starting. Can you tell me about this new venture that Jessica Devine is starting?
Yes, absolutely. I'm super excited about it. So I wanted to take a step away from Orange Theory and kind of work on my own thing because I saw a lot of strengths in myself. I'm really good with talking with people, helping people both physically and mentally. And I also have experience with Muay Thai and martial arts. And so I came up with this idea of, I came up with this idea of really trying to, what you spoke on in the beginning of the show, is empower people. And I feel like it goes beyond just being in the gym for 1 hour a day. I think I wanted to find a way to empower people, mind, body, and soul, and do so 7 days a week, 24/7, and be accessible to people versus just meeting with someone once, twice a week for an hour or two here or there, and really try and find a way to help people as a whole in a bigger way, which is what I'm trying to do right now. So what I ventured off into with my own business is really just putting together a package that is, I'm going to be able to help you physically in the gym and give you workouts, whether it's at home, I'm meeting with you in person, we're doing it over Zoom, or I'm just giving you a program. I'm also going to help you how to learn how to eat, but not put you on a diet. So let's focus on your nutrition, but make it a lifestyle habit versus let's put you on a diet, lose this weight, and then go right back to what you were doing before. And then also help people with motivation and helping with them with their mind, helping people that learn that it's not just about, oh, let me get that motivation and then work out and then you lose it. It's how can I work through the hard times and get myself past those hard times. So my whole package and what I'm doing with my business is creating that for people.
All right, so why should people come to you as opposed to go to like the big box gym or one of these other small studio type things?
Yeah, so I think there's benefits to all. There's a benefit to going to just the gym, and I think it's dependent on the person. I think what I'm bringing to people is, like I said, when you go to just the box gym and you sign up for a trainer, they're just getting 1 hour with that person, and then you clock out and that's it. You don't typically talk to your coach until the next session that you have. And there's not a lot of accountability to that. I feel like, a lot of coaches are burnt out in those box gyms, so they just kind of treat the person as a number and then on to the next one, on to the next one. I'm working 12-hour days. Whereas me, I'm making sure that I'm able to give my full attention to people. And I think that's setting me apart from just going to that or even to a place like Orange Theory. It's a great place to go, but you don't get to make a lot of connections with people. It's kind of like I see you for that hour, maybe a little bit before, after, and that's it. I want to create a connection with somebody because I feel like I'm able to give more support there, and it creates more accountability. People feel like they're able to talk to me more. I'm able to get to a deeper level, and we can create longer term results.
All right, is this for women only? Can men come to you?
No, absolutely, men as well. I actually, when I was in Virginia, worked with a lot of athletes, and a lot of them were men. So men, women, everybody.
And you even told me about a family, like you had a husband, a wife, and a child.
Yeah, I've actually done that a lot. Currently, I'm working with somebody who I am working with her. I'm working with her best friend. I worked with her son yesterday. I'm going to be working with her best friend's daughter as well. In Virginia, I worked with a husband, a wife, and the daughter who was only 7 at the time. So I'm doing all ages, man, female, anybody.
How is that working with a 7-year-old trying to get them to exercise?
It's actually a lot of fun
Yeah.
because I get to have fun with it and they do too. So you make it not just, oh, we're here to work out, which you typically do with an adult. You're like, hey, let's have some fun for an hour, get you moving, and it'll get you stronger.
So your ultimate goal is it your goal to establish a worldwide group of these types of fitness regimens, or is it that you just want to do this one and expand it in this area?
That's a great question. So really I want to impact as many people as I can, and I just want to find the best way to do that. So I want to do it without losing the sense of connection and community. Right. So I would love to go worldwide and be able to help, the whole world if I could. But I want to make sure that I can do it in a way where I'm staying connected with you and that I'm not just an owner in the background, taking someone's money. It's, hey, I know the owner and I can still be connected with the owner even if I'm pulled apart,
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, unfortunately, that was like the fastest 15 minutes in the world. I wish my treadmill was 15 minutes that happened that fast. We're going to have to take a quick commercial break. We're going to come back with Jessica Devine. I'm going to talk about some success stories and some benefits of working out with her. Come back in about 2 minutes on the
Each
Corey
time
Jones
scared
Show.
enough, to dial 911.
With everything going on in the world, there's riots, there's, political stuff.
And certain now she wants to be armed.
I want to own a gun and know how to use it properly. I'm a single mom, I have a 3-year-old daughter, and anything can happen at any time. If the person has the right gun and they're using it for the right reasons, murders aren't going to go and happen.
All right, welcome back to the Corey Jones Show. As you just saw, Jessica Devine was on NBC 10 talking about some dangerous situations and how she has taken steps to empower herself. But before that, I want to talk about how she used her power and her status in the community to help a young lady. Can you talk about that, please?
Sure. So recently I put together an event for Ellie Mae. We call her Mighty Ellie Mae because she was diagnosed with neuroblastoma at the age of 2. And she's now 4. And she actually just went through a procedure that basically wiped out her whole immune system. And they had to basically build that up. And it's a really scary time with it being COVID and everything else. So what I decided to do was use my own superpower, which is fitness, get the community together and come together, join forces, which was the theme, and help Mighty Ellie Mae. And how we did that was a virtual 10K, and all the proceeds basically went to her and her family, and I was able to raise over $4,000 for her. So
that's incredible, Jessica.
Yeah.
Let's just be so proud of that. Let's just so proud of that. So. Talk about some struggles that you've had. I know you've had some personal struggles and some scary struggles where there's potential crime involved. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So 2020 has been a weird year. I've had different encounters as a female growing up, but nothing as serious as what 2020 brought. And so I had a couple of encounters where someone had approached me in my own apartment complex. And, at the time I didn't know exactly what it was, but later on it seemed almost like a setup for sex trafficking. I have no confirmation of that, but just due to the events.
Right.
I also, not even a week later, was driving in my car and someone punched my side view mirror off. And then I also had someone approach me while I was in the middle of a run. A lot of were really scary experiences. And again, I'm a female and people tend to go for females more so than males.
Right.
And being a female, I don't want to be scared. I want to be able to know that I can use myself, my body, and my knowledge to be able to fight off, in the best of my ability, any experience.
Exactly. And so you have a Muay Thai background, so that's like the art of 8 limbs, right? So you can hit people with knees, elbows, fists, and feet, and so forth. But you and I got together and took it to another level.
Yep.
We went shooting. I think we have a video of you and I at the range shooting. If they could cue that up right now, then I wanted to kind of talk about that. You're one of my better clients. Normally I don't let people use it.
It was a lot of fun.
Reload.
Were you nervous at all?
A little bit when I first started.
Really? Okay.
But I got very
You did. You were good. You were good. Again, I want to thank you for that. You shared it a lot on social media, so you did help me on that. So did that make you feel more comfortable?
Absolutely.
Did it?
I really want to touch on, beforehand, you hear a lot of things about guns, and it's scary. I think anything that you don't know how to use or you don't know anything about is scary. I think guns are a big one just because you hear a lot about shooting and killings. But the thing is, and like I've touched on that news part that I was on, was if there's a gun on the table, nothing's going to happen, but it's the person behind the gun. And so when I learned how to use it in the right way, from someone who knows how to use a gun, obviously you have a ton of experience, it made me feel empowered. It made me feel like I know how to defend myself, and not only do I know how to use a gun, I know how to use it properly. And then you also gave me techniques to, if I'm pulling it from a holster, feel comfortable that way. Because you can go to a shooting range and learn how to use a gun, but if you don't know how to reload it properly, if you don't know how to pull it from yourself properly, you gave me a lot of techniques to make sure that I'm not injuring myself in the process. So
That's important.
yeah.
So empowerment breeds success.
Yes.
And I had asked you earlier before we came on about some success stories. So you had 1 or 2 success stories that you wanted to let me know about.
Yeah, so again, in my training, I'd like to help empower people, especially for events coming up. And one of the more recent ones was an old roommate of mine in Virginia reached out to me. It was COVID. Gyms had shut down, but her wedding was still on, and she had a dress fitting coming up. So I was able to write her workouts for about 5 times per week. I was always accessible to her. I made sure that she was aware of all the moves. I Zoomed with her to make sure, or FaceTimed with her to make sure that, you know, everything was good. And within a month and a half, she was able to lose 10 pounds.
That's great.
Yeah.
I gained my COVID-19, so it took me a little while to get, I'm about 8 down. I still got 11 more to go. So, you know, I got Dagmar to help me,
There you go.
to help me do that, So Jessica, we went over a lot of things today, and I want our viewers to be able to figure out how to get a hold of you, men and women, wherever you are in your fitness journey. I want you to be able to get a hold of Jessica. So how can people get a hold of you to empower themselves, make them fit, and make them healthier?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can contact me through Facebook, Jessica Devine. On Instagram, it's Jessica Devine with just an extra A and extra E. You can also contact me at 571-296-4144, which is actually my cell phone, or through email. So my last name, Devine, D-E-V-I-N-E, period, Jessica, J-E-S-S-I-C-A, the letter E, @gmail.com.
Jessica Devine, empower yourself to be healthy, happy, strong, and win in 2021. Thank you for watching the Corey Jones Show. Make sure you tune in next week for a new guest, but look at this show, pay attention to the show, contact Jessica to empower yourself. Jessica, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Stay safe. And I do have a gift for you.
Oh
The
my
gift is a
gosh.
book called Hard Target.
This is amazing.
Okay. I didn't write it, but I autographed it.
Yes,
So
you're awesome.
I wanted
Thank
to give you
so
this
much.
book so it can help you make yourself a hard target.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe. God bless, and have a great holiday season.
Well, thank you, you too.
Come back next week. Be safe. Be ready.
Stella.